Call our meeting back to order. Excuse me. Item 12 under new business. Item A, Identikid sole source resolution, Appendix I, Dawn Brinson.
Request the board to approve the Identikid sole source resolution.
Move for approval?
Second.
Questions or comments?
I have one quick question. And I don't know whether it has anything to do with who we're buying or getting this from, but during all my visits to the schools last spring, the resolution of the camera taking the picture, I could have been anybody. I mean, they are so poor. And when I was at the National Convention in New Orleans, I asked them about that. And they said, it's the camera. Any chance we can get some better cameras?
I will check into that. That's part of the initial package when a school gets it. It's only a $40 camera, so.
Well,
That
I mean,
explains it.
the ones they had at the national conference were very short. I'm sure they may have been $500 cameras for all I know, but the guy told me that was one of the reasons that you could really make out who the person was. I mean, half of them you couldn't have recognized me if I held it up next to me.
I will check into that before we actually do the purchase.
I'd appreciate it.
No problem.
Any other comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's approved. Item B, Earthwalk sole source resolution, Appendix J, Dawn Brinson.
Request that the board approve the Earthwalk sole source resolution.
Move for approval? Second.
Questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's approved. Item C, Apple lease agreement, Appendix K, Dawn Brinson.
Request that the board approve the Apple lease agreement for Williston, Middle School of Math, Science, and Technology and Gregory School of Math, Science, and Technology, contingent on Mr. Bullard working out the terms and conditions with Apple. He's been working on it for the past week, and there's still some issues there.
Move for approval? Second.
Comments or questions?
I have a question. Yeah, there we go. First question is what you included in the comments on this talked about what we're going to do in terms of selling the old items back, but there's nothing in the paperwork indicating what we will be receiving in terms of money for the.
I
Yes, I didn't see it.
apologize. I thought it was for the iPad 1s, we're getting $50 per iPad 1. For the iPad 2s, it's $120 per iPad 2.
So what does that come out to?
The numbers that I've worked up, we're looking at $22,540.
And I guess the other question I have is, and I don't want to, I think having technology in the schools is great if we use it.
I agree.
I have 2 children in elementary school. Now, they're not at Gregory, and I don't have any children in middle school. But I asked both of my children, who actually go to Eton, how often do you use the iPads at Eton? And what they told me was, maybe once a week. And so, there's a lot of potential or possible great things we can do with technology in the schools. But spending a couple of $100,000 on things, if we don't use them, doesn't really benefit anyone. And so I guess what I want to know, and I'd like to actually speak to a teacher from Gregory and from Williston, and I'd like to find out what do they, well, there's one right there. Hi, which school do you teach at? And
If
how
you
often-
would, you would need to come up to the microphone because they can't pick. I've already talked with them and they stopped me. That's what we were talking about. Was it anyone in the audience you're going to need to come up here because on TV
Okay.
or they can't hear? So thank you for coming.
That's
up.
great, and I'm sorry to pick on you, but
It's okay.
what's your name and what grade do you teach?
I am Karen Green, and I am the math specialist at Gregory.
Okay,
And I use iPads every day.
every day.
The difference is the one-on-one aspect of it, as opposed to schools who use them as a cart or
Yeah.
having it every day makes it a much more usable piece of technology.
The process that we're going through is, like, when we got rid of the fixed labs, we're putting mobile carts. And at elementary schools that have 500 students or more, we're putting 5 carts in. Less than 500, they are getting 3 carts. So at Eaton or any other school, those 5 carts could consist of 3 laptops or iPads. The school's got to choose. So I'm not sure how many carts are specifically iPads at Eaton, but it's shared amongst all the teachers, those, and they don't even have 5 yet. This is the final year that they're getting it. So they probably only have about 3 carts. It may only be 1 that's iPad, the other 2 may be laptops, or it could be 2 iPad and 1 laptop. So I don't know what the
Well,
number is.
My only point is, and if they're using them, I don't have any problem with, one of the things, and, I'm not dating myself like your car, but one of the things that came out a couple of years ago, which I think is really shows how technology can be used for student differentiation, is Khan Academy, which is just free. And I actually, when my kids get lost on math, I actually have them do Khan Academy at home, and it's actually a great free program. And kids can work at their own pace, and that's the potential for computer-based instruction. But again, I don't see that we're actually using the technology. Maybe they are at Gregory, and that's great if they are, and if the students are, getting individualized.
You are welcome to come by when school starts.
Well, I will.
All right.
So you're using the
I'll hold you
iPads
to it.
daily?
Yes, we do.
Okay, well, I don't have any problem with it if you're using it. I asked the 2 experts that I have in my home how often these are used. They tell me all kinds of things about computer usage and school lunches and, everything they experience on a daily basis. So.
Do
well,
you, I'm sorry, can I ask
Yep.
a question as well, while we have you up here? Do you also use laptop computers?
We do. We have netbooks for our 4 or 5, but we're supposed to be getting,
Yes, we're phasing those out. So
Yes.
they will have the netbooks still at 5th grade, 4th grade on down, we'll have iPads next year.
Okay, and so how do you, I've had both. I've used both, in terms of, and maybe this is not appropriate for the grade level we're talking about, because this is elementary school, but, for productivity, for typing up a paper or something like that, I find the iPad to be more cumbersome and not as user-friendly, I guess, and the ability to, you don't necessarily have the ability to print from the iPad. So are there any downsides that you would care to share with us?
I would say that the fact that you can't print, but you can save. So, our kids have Gmail accounts, Google Docs. They save it into there, they share it. So that's how we are able to see, correct, provide feedback, and proceed from there.
Okay,
So they all have email accounts.
right.
No, they don't have
Oh.
email accounts, they have,
Well, not
Google
really
Doc
email
accounts.
accounts,
Google
but
Doc, yeah.
Google Doc account, so we can share information, we can see what they're doing, we can reply, provide feedback.
But so there's a workaround?
Yeah.
You've basically found a
Yeah.
workaround? Okay,
There's ways to work around it.
right.
You can flip your classroom. There's different things that you can do with
And
technology.
so
A
what,
lot of
what do you
things.
use, what do you primarily use? Do you use a lot of apps? Do you use internet connection for instruction? How do you primarily use your iPads?
We do both. We have apps and we do the internet as well. We do both.
Okay,
You're kind of like a mix. You got to get the feel for the class. Some classes are different than others,
okay,
so
okay.
it just depends on what you have.
At
But,
middle school, for example, the 6th grade language arts teacher uses Dropbox, and her students put their assignments in Dropbox, and she grades the English assignments using that tool.
Well, they could do that. See, I have the same concern that you were expressing, and that is the small notebooks have become so inexpensive, and what they can do seems to me to far exceed what iPads are capable of doing. Maybe it's just me.
Well, I think maybe it's just, I think in the older grades where you have students who are producing a lot of written material, I don't think the iPad would necessarily be as user-friendly, because I've tried to use it, I've tried, maybe it's just a personal preference, but, I could see the value for some of the younger students.
Well, I
where
mean,
they're
I
not
know with
producing
our,
that kind
you
of
know, with
material.
our iPads, all I use it for is for this. I mean, if I've got anything else really to do,
I turned mine in. I don't even use it.
well, I mean, I've still got it, but,
My husband plays solitaire on it. That's pretty much what we use
well,
our
I mean, I
iPad
just,
for.
you know, I mean.
But you have to take into account the generation. These kids are
This is true.
tech savvy,
Yeah.
so what's
But
different?
again, you
it's
can't
kinda
print
like-
off of it.
No, actually you can. I have a printer that works on my iPad.
Well,
Yeah,
then
there's a-
look at
there's a
you.
print
Most
option. It's
people
not
don't.
It's a cheap printer.
It
but
can be,
It's
yeah.
wireless, it's an,
Yeah.
if you
Yeah,
got an
it's
Epson,
wireless.
there's
And
Epson
my
app to print.
computers can print to it too, so it
Yeah,
just
you
has
can
to-
print to it. We don't have wireless printers in the system. The goal, especially at the schools where we've done one-to-one, is to reduce the amount of printing, so they can save money on that toner and that paper and use that for other instructional resources by using the Google accounts or using WebDAV and turning assignments in, so they're not printing as much in the classrooms between the students and the teachers. And it's been an adjustment, and they've had to learn to adjust, and Gregory's, you know, the years that they've been using it, fourth and fifth grade, they've adjusted and realized other options besides printing everything out.
The only thing that, I know, there were some, when you were looking at some videos, they wouldn't run on the iPad because of the,
Flash.
technology. Yeah, the flash.
Because of the flash. Yeah,
Is
very
that
fast.
still a problem?
Yeah, you still can't run Flash. Flash is very intensive of the processor. So, but Flash is really phasing
Being
itself
phasing
out.
out.
As soon as, you know, people move over to HTML5, and there's lots of sources that websites can use to move that over, that's what people are moving to. The problem is education websites tend to be behind all of your other websites, and it takes them longer to kind of move their stuff over. Like Discovery. Discovery's moved all their stuff over out of Flash into the HTML5, so you can do all the Discovery Tech Book and Discovery videos on the iPad as well.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. Any other comments or questions? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's approved. Item D, parent notification contract, Appendix L. Holiday.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the board. We ask that you approve our parent notification contract. This is our automatic phone dialing system that we've been using for several years. It's now called Connect 5. It's through Blackboard. It used to be the thing we called Alert Now.
Move for approval.
Second.
Questions or comments?
We have to renew this every
Yes,
so
sir.
many years?
Every year.
Well, what was your question?
I just didn't realize, I thought it was something that, you know, once you bought it, it was yours.
Oh.
It's all web-based. So the product is a prescription, basically.
How many numbers for each family are they able to use?
I believe it's a primary number, a cell number, and a work number. It's at least 3 numbers, and when we do an emergency contact, every number that I have goes off. You know, because we do employees and everybody else. If my cell phone, my home phone, my wife's phone, everybody's phone goes off.
Trust me, you
So,
actually don't want to be on it.
It's
My phone will ring,
yeah,
the wife's
it's-
phone rings, the home phone rings, the office phone rings.
Yeah, it's plenty of numbers that we, whatever the parents give us, and most of the time, the
Can't get
cool
away
thing
from it.
about this is, the reports that we get, we can almost know immediately how many hangups we got, how many partial calls we got, and how many, bad numbers we got. So then we can go back and look
Good.
and find out
That-
who's giving us bad numbers
That was
and
gonna
get
be my
those
next
corrected.
question.
So, we have come so far from the old automated phone dialing system that would call one phone call at a time, and you start calling home. I mean, we had it out at Laney, start calling home at 6 o'clock, and by 11 o'clock, people be saying, why is this phone system calling me? We might have called 25 people. But we can now instantaneously call just about everybody in the district. It's a very nice tool.
And you do, quite frequently, actually.
Yeah. We've tried to talk to our principals about making sure that they don't overuse it, because we don't want it to become,
A nuisance.
but at the same time, it's just, you know,
It
It's
is
a-
a great thing, you know, and I've had children in 3 different schools and received, you know, more than 3 calls in one
so
evening.
you're well notified.
So we're well notified, but you do run the risk of people tuning you out at that point. 'Cause
Yeah, we
whenever I
do.
see, what's this county calling me again for? You know, what are they calling me for? So,
Yeah.
we do.
We're trying, but
Right.
again, we want to make sure we get the information out. The other thing this thing allows us to do is we've used with you all some is when you all wanted to know some things. and we've done a survey.
Right.
And we can do like a 5-question survey and get the response back fairly quickly, and So it's really, an exceptional tool.
So with this subscription, do you have a limit as to the number of, calls that you can make, or is it pretty much unlimited?
No, ma'am, we
It's just-
can call you all night long. if you want to.
Good to know.
Yeah.
How do I get my number off? Is there a do not call list that I can find my number?
Actually, the cool thing about this, and I'm glad you asked, is the cool thing about this is we will have people call us and say, I haven't had kids in school since 1952. Why are y'all calling me? And somebody has given them a bad number or
I
something,
see.
and we're able to immediately find out who that is. We don't have to guess. We can go into the database and find out where that number's coming from. We can take that number out and we can notify the school, this kid's given a bad number, or the number in it is wrong, we need to fix it.
Or we'll get disconnects early on, because folks will give us those numbers. And so we can weed out a lot of folks who have given us bad numbers.
Yeah.
When you say we, do we have one person that does all of this? Is it?
No, Denise, as you know, manages this for us, but we also have Emily, and Emily Jones, who's a Power School person, and Janet helps us out too. And we also can cross-train. Susan helps some, and Valita's office, her and Heather help us. I mean, so we.
It would take a lot of people to keep it going.
It really is. Once you get the numbers in and you get the data in, it's fairly easy to use.
It self-populates a lot of it from
Yeah.
the school data collected at the school level.
Yeah, it's really, that's one of the good things about it, is it's fairly easy to use. And once you-
One of the things that happens today when you write software is there's a protocol for different educational software to talk to each other. And this matches up to PowerSchool, and they talk to each other.
Yeah,
So an individual school, they don't have to take care of it, you take care of it?
no ma'am,
centrally?
they can do it too. I mean, that's why Ms. Coble's getting 45 calls. The schools can send out calls on their own. In
Oh,
other
I
words,
understand that, but I'm saying the update of numbers and all, is that
as
all
long
done
as,
centrally?
as long as their data manager is keeping the
Oh,
numbers
okay.
current, yes ma'am.
Okay.
Have we voted yet?
Nope. Any other comments or questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's approved. Item E, facility lease agreement with University of North Carolina, Wilmington, Appendix M. Holiday.
This is for our, thank you, Mr. Chair. This is for our young adult transition program class that we have out at UNCW, and it's just our agreement. It does not cost us anything. So it's just you approving our agreement with UNCW.
Second.
Comments, questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's approved. Item F, ACES, which is Advisory Council for Exceptional Students, Appendix N. Holiday.
Yes, this is what used to be called a Special Ed Advisory Group. It's now got a really cool name, Advisory Council for Exceptional Children, which is ACES.
I like it.
Ms. Eastep and her group came up with that idea, and I told them the other day, I said, you know, the ACES were our rival in high school. You know, the Eatonton Aces played them, and so every time I think about it, it takes me back. So kind of a cool name. Anyway, I digress. This is our advisory council membership and just a routine approval by the board tonight, Mr. Chair.
Move for approval.
Second.
Any comments or questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's approved. Item G, Child Development Center, Appendix O. Holiday.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. This is one of our contracts with our service providers, and we ask that you, for special ed, we ask that you approve it.
Move for approval.
Second.
Comments, questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's approved. Item H, East Seals UCP, Appendix P. Holiday.
Yeah, like the last contract, Mr. Chair, this is one of our service providers for our special ed population, and it is money that we get passed down through the state like the last one was, so it's money that can only be used for this purpose, so we ask that you approve that use.
Move for approval.
Second.
Comments, questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's approved. Item I, Learning Perspectives Incorporated, Appendix Q. Holiday.
This is a contract that provides IEP services for some of our most special, needy children. It's specific to just a couple of children that are listed there, and ask that you approve that.
Move for approval.
Second.
Comments, questions?
Dr. Holliday, was this something that had to be bid out? How was Learning Perspectives selected?
I can get you that information. We've worked with that group for some time, but I can get you that information.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's approved. Item 13 on the agenda, I don't think anyone signed up. Is that correct, Ms. Adams, for the call to the audience? Any correspondence any board members would like to share? Under upcoming announcements, item 15, the board will attend the New Hanover County Schools summer school graduation. That's Thursday, August the 14th, 7 p.m. in the auditorium of Snipes Academy. Item B, the board will attend the New Hanover County Schools Convocation and Vendor Fair Friday, August 22nd, 2014. It starts at 9 a.m. and will end at 5. The convocation will be held at Minnie Evans, and the vendor fair will be held at Ashley High School. The next regular meeting of the New Hanover County Board of Education will be Tuesday, September the 2nd at 5:30 p.m., but we have an interim meeting.
We will have an interim meeting on the 19th, and we will have a need for a closed session to discuss settlement.
So that's the 19th. What time?
4 o'clock was a traditional time for the interim
Okay.
or work session meeting.
And I think the policy committee is meeting.
Is on September 2nd at 3 o'clock here at the board center.
I had the 19th.
The 19th, did we?
You added a
the
policy
19th or
in there.
just- Oh, we changed it to, I thought it was gonna be before the board meeting, so it's on, so it's at 3 o'clock?
Yes, I'm sorry, Ms.
Will
Understood.
will
I'd
they
be
have
happy
enough
to share.
time to get all the policy recommendations in by the 19th?
I believe so, but we
Okay.
can change it if you'd like.
No, okay, the 19th is fine. Thank you, Mrs. Easton.
Additionally, the administrator retreat goes on for 2 more days, so if you want to pop in, Ms. Eastep was in today. I understand that you guys, a couple of you will be there tomorrow.
Yeah, I've got Parks and Gardens in the morning. I thought when I left that meeting, I would come down.
Yes, I'll be there in the morning. All day.
When, was it yesterday that the county commissioners talked about the bond issue or had their public hearing?
No, the public
Next
hearing is
Monday.
August 11th.
August the 11th, okay.
I was at, Eddie and I were at the last meeting, where they approved the amount and the issue on the ballot. So the next action by the county commissioners is the bond hearing on the 11th.
Do you know what time?
It's at their regular meeting, which is
6:30?
6 usually.
Six?
But we'll get something out to you ahead of time.
Okay.
Any other announcements? Hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, we are adjourned.